Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Rob Thacker. I'm the music director here at St. John's. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our gathering hymn for this month. Morning Has Come, hymn number 1000 in the Teal hymnal.
The chalice lighting today is The Beauty of Flowers by Reverend Jenn. We light this chalice in honor of the beauty of flowers, as it takes many flowers to take a bouquet. It takes all of us to build a beloved community. Good morning, all, and welcome to St. John's Unitarian Universalist Church on this first Sunday in May, the Sunday of our annual Flower Communion. For newer members and friends and for visitors, the Flower Communion was begun in Prague in 1923 and brought to the U.S. in 1940, where it has had a place in the church year ever since. It represents something fundamental to Unitarian Universalism. It celebrates the beauty of unity in diversity. Don't worry if you didn't bring a flower, there are always enough for everyone. And so we welcome you, whoever you are, no matter what identity you hold, no matter if you have documents that don't speak to your gender identity, or if you don't have documents at all. You are welcome here if you are angry, scared, joyous, or confused. You are welcome here both in person and online, and we value the racial, economic, cultural, age, physical ability, sexual orientation, and gender diversity of all our members, friends, and visitors. There are many great things happening at St. John's and lots of ways to get involved. Please review your order of service, and you may want to check out the TV in the lobby or bulletin boards in our fellowship hall, where you are also invited to join us after the service for coffee and conversation. Now, please put your cell phones in church mode, and again, welcome to St. John's. And now we do have this, right? The Let Us Singers will perform Sakura, a Japanese folk song that celebrates the blossoming of the cherry blossoms, cherry trees in Japan. And now we will say our affirmation. There it is. Affirmation by Bill Schultz. This is the mission of our faith, to teach the fragile art of hospitality, to revere both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to witness to all that we must hold the whole world in our hands.
Each week, we make time in our service to ground ourselves in what we value. We celebrate and honor our community here at St. John's. We honor our joys and concerns by coming forward to place stones representing what we carry into the sand that represents how we hold one another in this beloved community. If you would like a joy or concern to be read, please leave them on the table. And if you're joining us online, please share them in chat, and we will read them all from the pulpit. We light this candle representing all that exists within our beloved community. Nicole, who I believe is also here, online submitted, May 1st is Mental Health Month. It's okay to not be okay. And congrats and good luck to all the flying piggies this morning. Edie says, my son Daniel Holder graduated yesterday with a degree in environmental engineering from UC. He will be moving to Germany this week to join his brother and family. Congratulations. Pete shares a sorrow, the killing of Roy Hinton by police in East Price Hill, and the violent incident and killing after UC's commencement of a police officer. Indeed. I invite you into a spirit of prayer meditation with these words by Reverend Amy Zucker Morgenstern. Each of us is a flower with a delicate beauty uniquely our own. We may be like sunflowers, turning always toward the light. We may be like night blooming flowers, only displaying our fragrant petals when it is dark and we think no one can see. We may be hothouse flowers, far from our native lands, cautiously tended within a harsh and unfamiliar climate. We may be gray-headed like dandelions, eager to launch the new generation with the first strong gust of wind, past our own bright youth, but ready to pass our wisdom on in precious, gossamer-carried seeds. Some of us sometimes spring up overnight and fade in the hot glare. Some of us sometimes are roses, slowly assembling petal after tightly wrapped petal, and revealing our full glory only when everything is in its place. Sometimes we are roadside weeds, loveliness bursting improbably from the dust and debris. May we offer our beauty with the simplicity of flowers, expecting no recognition, hoping for nothing, giving out of what we are and knowing it is enough. May we bloom like flowers. Amen. As Erica said, today is our annual flower communion. This is a ritual with a long history in Unitarian Universalist congregations. The first one was celebrated by Norbert Kapek in Czechoslovakia. He wanted a ritual that would celebrate the diversity in the congregation while also binding more people more closely together. In just a couple of moments, I'm going to invite you to bring forward flowers. If you don't have one, we still have some extra back there by the entrance. While this is usually a service where children stay for the entire service, they've asked to plant seeds. Is that still happening? Yes, that is still happening today. So after we bring the flowers forward, we will sing the children who want to go off to plant seeds into the earth and encourage new life to grow. That being said, anyone can stay for the entire service. We will also be celebrating maybe Beltane with a maypole dance directly after the service in the front lawn. I think that's up in the air too. We'll figure it out later. I will now invite you to bring forward your flowers quietly. I'm going to read us the words of Elizabeth Strong, and after I read the poem, Stephen will play for us. And there is nothing special about any of the vases. You can put your flowers in any one. Travelers upon the earth, enter into the communion of flowers with joyful hearts. Enter with reverent thoughts. It has taken long months beneath cold ground for these flowers to prepare their blooming. It has taken each of us long times of growth through sorrow and joy to prepare for our living now. The blooming season is short. The flowers stay only a brief time. We are travelers upon the earth, travelers through all too brief lifetimes. Therefore, let our moments be bountiful. Let us rejoice in our unique colors, aromas, and sounds. Let us celebrate together in love, that as we travel away, we take with us the memory of golden hours together among the flowers.
sit on that note for a while. We'll go ahead and sing the blessing, children's blessing.
Our Split the Plate recipient this month, correct, is Ohio Pet Sanctuary, and Linda Heath will come up to introduce the persons from the Ohio Pet Sanctuary.
I'm Linda Heath. I'm a member of the Outreach Committee. The congregation suggests and the Outreach Committee selects and schedules Split the Plates. The first Sunday of each month, we split the offering plate with a nonprofit. This month, it's the Ohio Pet Sanctuary. Half of the offering plate will be split 50-50. There also are envelopes on the backs of some of the chairs that you can designate 100% to the sanctuary, or with a check, you can write and put in 100% to the sanctuary. You can also donate online by way of Banco. So with us today is Madison Schleibaum, who is the sanctuary founder, to tell us about their work.
Good morning. Very sorry, I'm not used to standing at a podium, so this is a little nerve-wracking for me. My name is Madison Schleibaum. I founded the Ohio Pet Sanctuary in 2012, so we're going on our 13th year this September. Every year gets a little bit harder, but we are still going strong, and we're very proud of that. The sanctuary is a little different than what most people think of when they think animal rescue. Our focus is on what we call the forgotten animals. These are the animals that a lot of other rescues don't take in, are inexperienced with, are incapable of helping. We deal primarily with things like pocket pets. We have a lot of rabbits and guinea pigs, chinchillas, ferrets, but we also take things like birds, reptiles. How many people have ever heard of a dagu? We've had quite a few of those. Unfortunately, these animals do become homeless for the same reasons that dogs and cats do. Their owners pass away. Right now, the economy is not good, and it's not looking like it's going to get much better anytime soon. We have a lot of people who can no longer afford to feed their pets. When you've got to choose between gas, groceries, and cat food, unfortunately, the cat's the one who's going to have to go. In our cases, a lot of people underestimate the amount of care it takes for these rabbits and these birds, and in particular the reptiles. And their care gets put on the back burner in favor of more immediate needs. A good example of one that we have right now is a little tortoise. His name is Pistachio. Anybody is welcome to come and visit Pistachio. But he, we believe, was an impulse purchase from a pet store. Where the people didn't understand what they were quite getting themselves into, and he wound up with severe malnourishment. His shell actually divots inward, and the abdominal scutes. The scales on his belly were falling off when he came to us. All entirely because they took care of him the affordable route, not the correct route. So he had a lot of issues that we're trying to correct. We've got a very beautiful cat that we unfortunately call the fried chicken kitty, because she is covered in scabs and she's greasy and she has a staph infection in her skin, and when you touch her, she feels like touching fried chicken. Her name is Miracle. She is a super sweet cat, but she is very scared. And these are problems that in the past could have been addressed, when people had more of a budget to address the problems. But when they can't afford to take the animals to the vet, maybe not necessarily feed them the best food, that sorts of things, then the animals unfortunately end up becoming sicker and sicker until the owners decide they can no longer care for them at all. And that is, unfortunately, again, how we get a lot of our animals, is just an inability to afford care. We also, again, get them when people pass away. We just took in, hold on, let me math this, 14 birds from an owner that had passed away. It was 10 parakeets, 2 finches, and 2 cockatiels. And the 2 cockatiels are still with us. They are not in the best health condition, so we are working on getting them fixed up as well. But again, this is an owner that passed away, and family members had not anticipated having to take on this large quantity of animals. Family members are not prepared to take on these large quantities of animals. And they end up finding them new homes. And again, when we're one of the only places in Cincinnati that takes them, they wind up on our wait list to come in. Unfortunately, we do have a wait list for animals to come into the facility that, depending on the time of year, usually has an average of between 400 and 600 animals. And that is if you count all of the groups of guinea pigs as one. Like right now, there is somebody who has a group of 13 guinea pigs on our wait list. That is us counting them as one. And a lot of times it's because people get 2 of an animal from the pet store, and then you wind up with 8. They were not divided correctly, or they didn't double check. People don't know how to double check. That happens quite frequently. The chinchilla group that we had, they had gotten 2 chinchillas from the pet store. They brought us 7. Yes, so it's a bit of an issue, and for us, we are in the unique position where, when you hear every day, don't breed or buy while shelter pets die, for some reason that only applies to dogs. And the idea of going to the pet store and getting a guinea pig or a chinchilla or a ferret rather than finding one from a rescue is not encouraged as much as it is with other species. Birds are thankfully coming up more as people are recognizing the need to rescue birds a little bit more, but these little pocket pets and things like that, reptiles in particular, they're not looked at as something that you rescue so much as something that you purchase. And for us, again, you wind up with people who get them for children, and the children don't know how to take care of them, get bored with them. A lot of people get guinea pigs thinking they have a lifespan of 3 years. They have a lifespan of 9 to 12 years. So the kids get bored, or a lot of times in our case, they go to college and the parents don't want to take care of them. So there's a lot of reasons, the animals that we care for wind up finding themselves in our care. And again, with very few places to go, we are very frequently overwhelmed. On our memories on our Facebook, we came up not too long ago with a memory from 2 years ago where we took 76 birds and 9 rabbits out of one woman's basement. She was begging for somebody to help her. She could no longer physically take care of the animals. She was begging for somebody to take care of her. In the state of Ohio, the county facilities do not have to care about anything that is not a dog. Now in Kentucky they do, but in Ohio the county facilities do not have to help with any other species. So she called 9 rescues. 7 referred her to us. 1 of them was us. So we got as many people as we could together, 2 vans, and went out and spent an entire day helping this poor woman and helping her animals. And some of them were not in the best of condition, but we managed to save every single one of them. And it was because we had a great number of people who helped us. It took us over a year to place that many birds. I'm not going to lie to you. It took us over a year to find homes for that large a quantity of birds. But, it's something that everybody who comes in our door has a passion for and understands the need for what we do. We are an entirely volunteer-based organization. We do not have a single paid employee in our facility at all. 100% of every purchase from our little shop, 100% of every dime of the adoption fees, everything gets put back into the animals' health care, our rent and utilities, and making sure that these animals have a safe place to go. And unfortunately right now, I'll be honest with you, everybody's struggling a little bit. Again, the economy is in a bad condition. We're struggling a little bit, but we are plugging along. But it's not something that we're going to give up anytime soon. Like I said, we have a great, wonderful team of volunteers who absolutely loves these animals. We have several that are long-term residents. We have Ada was, honestly, you are all welcome to come visit Ada. I'm sure she would love it. She is a paraplegic cat that was abandoned at our front door when she was 8 weeks old with a broken spine. And that was back in August of 2018. She has lived her entire life at the facility. I tell people all the time that she runs it. I'm just allowed to work there. She meets everybody at the front door. She loves everyone. It's the only home that she has ever known. Pepper is a diabetic cat that's been with us for quite some time. Things like that. So we've got plenty of long-term residents that just need somebody to come in and pet them and love them and remind them that no, they don't live in a house, but they are still loved and that they are still cared for. And we have a rocking chair and a little free library, and we invite people to come in to just spend time with the animals. And at the end of the day, what they really need is somebody to love them. Sorry, I'm having a really rough morning.
We need to wind it up.
But we do a lot with scout groups as well. So, we love what we do, and we love every animal that comes in that door.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And as Linda said, you can give to the Ohio Pet Sanctuary as all month, but especially today with your offering. Our offering words are by Kristen Collins. We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred spaces. We give with the faith that together we have enough. Thank you. Every year when Reverend Capek led the flower communion service, he would say these words to consecrate the flowers. So I'm going to invite you to join in with that today, or to listen, I mean. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessings on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and gifts to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. Amen.
And our reading today is by Mary Oliver, by some people thought the poet laureate of the Unitarian Universalist Church. This morning, the green fists of the peonies are getting ready to break my heart as the sun rises, as the sun strokes them with his old buttery fingers. And they open, pools of lace, white and pink. And all day the black ants climb over them, boring their deep and mysterious holes into the curls, craving the sweet sap, taking it away to their dark underground cities. And all day, under the shifty wind, as in a dance to the great wedding, the flowers bend their bright bodies and tip their fragrance to the air, and rise, their red stems holding all that dampness and recklessness gladly and lightly. And there it is again, beauty, the brave, the exemplary, blazing open. Do you love this world? Do you cherish your humble and silky life? Do you adore the green grass with its terror beneath? Do you also hurry, half-dressed and barefoot, into the garden and softly, and exclaiming of their dearness, fill your arms with the white and pink flowers, with their honeyed heaviness, their lush trembling, their eagerness to be wild and perfect for a moment, before they are nothing forever.
We'll now sing hymn number 64, Oh, Give Us Pleasure in the Flowers Today. Please rise and body your spirit.
Do not live too far in the past or the future. Live now. These words of Elizabeth Tarbox in Expect Life continue. In each moment, expect a miracle. 10 kinds of birds at the feeder and the tracks of a fox in the snow. Pick up a magnifying glass and scrutinize the crocus. See the pollen at the center of the daffodil, life's dust, death defying life. Be astonished at the flower, arrested at its beauty. Run naked through the garden early in the morning and hope the wild geese fly by. Get silly and laugh loudly with your grandchildren or your grandparents. Refuse to leave the dead behind, but bring their memory to all your chores and games and corners of quiet, warm tears. Know always that joy and sorrow are woven together. One cannot be without the other. If you love, know that sometimes your love will bring you tears. If you grieve, know it is because at some time you are willing to love. Do not be afraid to die today, but expect life. I love her phrase, be astonished at the flower, arrested by its beauty. Today we're celebrating our yearly flower communion, which is a tradition in Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world, a time when we bring flowers together to remind us of the beauty and unique diversity within our community. As we honor this ritual today, I want to take a few minutes to explore the diversity of Unitarian Universalism across the country and the world. There are a little over 1,000 UU churches in the United States and almost 70 in Canada. There are also Unitarian churches in other countries such as England and Transylvania. So I wondered, what might a flower communion look like if we were all to come together? Each of the flowers would be different, of course, representing gatherings of UUs who call themselves churches, fellowships, societies, congregations, communities, and probably more. We celebrate and encourage these differences with what is known as congregational polity. Congregational polity means that each congregation makes its own decisions about how they will run, how they will represent Unitarian Universalism, and who might or might not be their minister. This means individual UU congregations can sometimes end up being quite different. And yet within this uniqueness, I've noticed regional influences in every place I've studied and served, from Kansas to Massachusetts to California, Canada to Ohio. I'll give you a brief overview. Let's start in the middle of our imaginary flowers. The Midwest is where we are, where I found this faith, and where many of you were raised in it or found it yourselves. The way our congregations operate in the Midwest was heavily influenced by two realities. The first was what was known as the Iowa Sisterhood. In the late 19th century, when Unitarianism was spreading, most of our congregations were concentrated in the East, largely in Massachusetts. The Unitarian leaders found that there weren't a lot of male ministers who wanted to go to the Midwest and the Great Plains to establish and lead churches. And so after a women's ministerial conference organized by Julia Ward Howe, the same woman who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic and the Mother's Day Proclamation, several Unitarian women ministers organized the Iowa Sisterhood to serve these areas in the middle of the country. Many of these women had found it difficult or impossible to be accepted and serve as full-time ministers in the eastern states. But by working together and heading west, they were able to escape some of the religious hierarchy and do things their own way. The Midwestern and Great Plains congregations of today bring unique flowers to our big imaginary flower communion. flowers from gardens planted by these women of the Iowa Sisterhood. They changed the way our congregations were structured and even the physical shape of many of our church buildings, shifting away from the more formal traditional churches of the East. The sisterhood built and led more pastoral congregations, churches that they considered to be an extension of hearth and home. These congregations tended to have more versatile sanctuaries that could be used for worship, for meetings, for celebration spaces. And this was part philosophy and part practicality. They often could only meet in one room. Many Unitarian congregations buildings built during that time and after don't look as much like a church. And you'll notice some of the churches you drive by in the Midwest are really only identifiable by their signs. This is in part a result of that tendency toward wanting spaces that could be used to serve the community in a variety of ways. But not all congregations in this region bring flowers planted by the Iowa Sisterhood. Another important source of beauty for many congregations in this area was the fellowship movement. This was a program started in the mid-1900s to allow small groups of people to form a church even when they weren't led by a minister. The program is why you see so many lay-led congregations in the Midwest, Great Plains, and Mountain States. Although quite a few congregations started by the fellowship movement went on to call professional clergy to journey with them later on, many have remained lay-led. And some are downright suspicious of trained, seminary-educated clergy. A beautiful wild rose, complete with protective thorns, perhaps. Here at St. John's, our congregation is influenced by our relatively unique history as a former German-speaking congregation established in the early 1800s that brought together both liberal, Protestant, and Catholic Germans in Cincinnati. After more than 100 years as an independent congregation, members of St. John's chose to join the American Unitarian Association. We don't follow the pattern of many in this area. We've had traditional church buildings and less traditional ones, and a history of calling ordained clergy to minister here. But again, each flower in our large imaginary flower communion is unique. Perhaps St. John's brings the Edelweiss. Let's go to the east side of our vase next. Even today, Unitarian Universalism is concentrated in the eastern United States. I attended seminary near Boston, so I spent 3 years in this area. As a woman from Kansas, I was stunned to go from a state with 6 UU congregations total to a state where it had more than 6 congregations within 10 miles. Unitarian Universalism in the East remembers its origins more clearly than any area of the country. You are more likely to see grand, sweeping churches. We even have a cathedral in Massachusetts. You are also much more likely to find UU churches that specifically identify as Christian Unitarian Universalist in this region. We even have one church in Boston, King's Chapel. It's the only one in existence anywhere that is both UU and Anglican. They even have their very own book of prayer. Sunday services there might remind you more of an Episcopal church or a Catholic church than our typical Sunday services here. Most of our congregations on the East were formed before the Unitarians and the Universalists joined forces in 1961. So perhaps the flowers they bring to our big imaginary flower communion are heirloom varieties, carefully passed down through generations. So let's go to the west side of our imaginary vase. In the late 1800s, a number of influential ministers in the Western Conference got together to talk and write about creating a Unitarianism that was ethical rather than religious. They thought Unitarianism was ready to give up Christianity and its theistic origins altogether. Those ideas, as well as the culture and politics of the area, shaped many of the congregations in the West, including the one I served in Napa. Our congregations in the West are more likely to be solidly humanist, and some might say quicker to ignore the roots of Unitarian Universalism. Congregations in the West have also tended to more solidly embrace earth-centered traditions. So our big imaginary flower communion, the Western UUs, would joyfully bring a variety of native flower species perfectly suited to the climate and creatures of the region. Now, as I mentioned before, our tradition isn't limited to the United States. There are Unitarian and Universalist churches in other countries around the world. I'm most familiar with the Canadian Unitarians because I did an internship there as well. Right now, you may notice they have a slightly different name. Here, we are part of the Unitarian Universalist Association, but in Canada, it's the Canadian Unitarian Council. Why? Well, by the time the Unitarians and the Universalists merged in the United States, Universalism had almost died in Canada. This wasn't due to a lack of belief in Universalist ideas. It was due to the fact that Universalist ideas had become so mainstream within the Christian churches, there wasn't really much of a need for a separate Universalist tradition. The largest Protestant church in Canada, the United Church of Canada, is a progressive denomination. I suspect this is a factor in Canada achieving nationwide marriage equality 10 years before the United States. The United Church of Canada is already home to many Universalists. Universalists are those who believe all will be saved and reject the idea of a punishing God or hell. So when the Unitarian Universal Association formed in the US, the Canadian churches joined, but as often as not, they kept the name Unitarian without picking up Universalist. And in 2002, the Canadian Unitarian Council split off from the UUA. This was a friendly split that allowed them to provide services and programs tailored to Canadian congregations while still sharing ministers and ministries with us in the United States. Perhaps when they come to our big imaginary flower communion, the Canadians would bring bunchberry, voted on by Canadians, for Canadians to be their own national flower. My beloved spiritual companions, the vase of our flower communion is full, bright, and beautiful. Each flower is influenced by its lineage, its location, and those who tended it along the way. Just as each of us here this morning have been influenced by our lineage, our location, and those who have tended us along the way. May we continue to grow in beauty. Blessed be. Amen. So these flowers that you have brought forward represent the diversity and beauty of our community. As we partake of the flower communion, I invite each of you to come forward again. This is your day to practice being in queue. And select a different flower from the one you placed in the vase. As you do so, remember how important it is for each of us to address this world with justice, love, and gentleness. As you take your flower, pay attention to its unique shape and beauty. This is the gift someone else has brought to you. It represents their humanity and their presence in this community. Stephen will play music for us while we participate. I'm going to give you a very short greeting one another time. So be listening for us to call you back. You can talk about flowers if you want, why you chose the one you have. And I encourage you to try to talk to somebody you haven't talked to recently.
Okay,
Yes, I know.
thank you for talking with your neighbors, and it's time to go back to your seats. Ring a bell, we need a gong. Oh, there you
But it
go.
didn't work the first time.
Okay.
Joanna wants to make the
Yeah,
announcement.
oh, yes, Joanne.
So, hi, everybody. It's good. It's so lovely that we can't stop talking and sharing with each other, isn't it? I love that. I just dinged it hard. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but it worked, right? I'm Joetta. I'm the president of the congregation, and I want to remind you that we have one more opportunity scheduled at this time tomorrow at 7:30 on Zoom. It's in the order of service here to join the board for conversation about our next ministry, Beyond Reverend Jenn, who will be with us for another year and 4 or 5 months, something like that, during her 3-year interim time with us. And so we're in the middle of planning beyond that, and we invite all members and friends as well to join us on Zoom tomorrow for that conversation. We've had really robust conversations in the 4 meetings we've had so far, and we have one more planned tomorrow. I think that's it for me. Mark your calendar for June 1st for the congregational meeting. Thanks.
Okay, and Reverend Jenn has an announcement.
Just a reminder, next week we are at First Unitarian. Go there, not here, at 10:30, not 11. Really important. We're doing a joint service with Heritage First and us, and it's a Ask a Minister service. So if you haven't had a chance to submit questions, you can send them to me or you can send them to Alex, Reverend Regal, who's the minister over there. His email's in our e-news. And the second one is, what are we thinking about Beltane?
It's pretty damp out there. I think we're going to pass this year for the sake of slipperiness and ankles.
Doug is saying we are not going to do the maypole this year because it is very wet out there and they are concerned about slipperiness and ankles.
makes sense. And Rob has an announcement about the choir service.
So not next Sunday, but May 18th is the spring choral service. The choir's been working very hard. We have lots of pieces we're going to sing for you all. It's about the roads to home. So please invite your family, your friends, and also please come as well. So.
Okay, and then for the rest of the announcements, please see your order of service. Thank you.
We will now sing our closing hymn, De Caloris, number 305. We will only sing verses 1 and 2, because 2 kind of fits with the theme of the day as well. So verses 1 and 2.
As you go forth into the world, may the winds of change dance lightly upon your petals and invite you to celebrate the diversity and beauty around you. Go in peace, go in love.